Hello there everyone, how you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're going into r/entitled people, where the people are very entitled. If you enjoyed today's video, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, and hit that notification bell. Now without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Customer wants half off because it's not worth the money. I make stuff out of epoxy resin. One thing I made was a curled up baby dragon inside of a D20 the size of a baseball for my game master's birthday. He showed it to several people at the local game store we play D&D at, and several people wanted one. I worked out a deal with the owner, and he now sells them for $100 and keeps the other $10. A lady came in yesterday and saw one, and wanted it for her son. Once she saw there were $100, she loudly said, "There's no way anyone will pay $100 for this thing. I could barely justify $50. She went on a 5-minute rant about price gouging and how tacky it looked, unaware I make them, and was in the room. However, her rant was interrupted when someone came in and bought 2 of them. The store owner shot her a look after the other customer left, and she just stormed out. Excuse me. A woman in a pizzeria. Firstly, English is not my maternal language, and I have dyslexia and another word I cannot pronounce, but I use a program that should make this readable. To the woman my husband met at the pizzeria, let's not mean. My husband ordered us pizza Friday night for dinner. He went to get them with our toddler, while I was finishing an order of brownies for a friend's party. I need to explain that a place if you went to has a policy of, if you order online, if you show up when your pizza is supposed to be ready, you skip the line, pay for your order, and leave. The whole ordeal usually takes less than 2 minutes, even if the store is really busy. So last night, my husband took our toddler with him, but didn't bring anything to keep our toddler occupied. This is usually something very important because our son is prone to meltdowns and is currently being assessed for level 2 autism. He walked our son into the store, skipped the line and went to the counter like he was supposed to, and an employee saw him. Right away, as he was telling the employee his name for the order, a middle-aged woman, the first in line, started going off. The employee, a young lady who was very professional, according to my husband, tried to explain the policy. But the woman wanted nothing to do with it. Seeing our son was showing signs of being overwhelmed by the screams of the heartbeat, my husband told the employee to take the woman's order. He thought that would deal with the issue. Well, if you know entitled people, you know the answer to that is nuh-uh. The woman, with a Karen haircut, with blonde highlights and all, was not having it. She was not calming down and was taking her sweet time ordering, complaining and screaming all the while. Now, it was Friday, 5:30 p.m. in the pizzeria. It's busy, there's many people, and the woman was still screeching. My son had nothing to distract him while my husband was doing his best to hold on to him and trying to fish his phone out. Cue the absolute meltdown. He was screaming his little heart out and flailing. The store is very echoey. My husband still hadn't paid for the pizza, and he didn't have a straight line to the door because there were too many customers. He was honestly doing his best, and our son was having none of it. The woman told him to make our son shut the F up, or she would do it for him, and was now refusing to order or let anyone else order until my son was quiet. My husband explained that our son is autistic and overwhelmed, and it would be easier if she stopped screaming. Now he was mad. He's usually a calm mad, but he is 6'3", and built like a linebacker, so he knows that if he raises his voice, the woman was going to call abuse and police against him. so he kept calm and his voice level. He said he saw sympathetic glances from most of the people around and the cashier, which he appreciated in those situations. But the woman wasn't done. He said that she screamed. Translated for this sub. Well, you shouldn't take a insert slur for mentally disabled people out of the house. Apparently the store went quiet, except for my son still melting down. I'm glad I wasn't there. I probably would have been arrested for assault. The woman just turned around, looking smug, and tried to order again. A man, my husband said, made him feel small, taller by a few inches, and clearly a bodybuilder, tapped the woman's shoulder and told her to get the F out. She tried to argue, but the employee repeatedly told for her to get out, and she wouldn't take her order. The woman left screeching. My son took a couple minutes calming down, with Bluey now playing on the phone, my husband paying and leaving with our order less than 5 minutes later. It's curious that how when you take away the hostilities, our son calmed down in mere minutes. Cue him leaving, the woman had waited for him to screech at him some more. Before she even could, the man poked his head out the door and told her to not even think about it. My husband nodded his thanks and hightailed it to the car. Now to the man who came to the rescue, I wish I could meet you in person. Thank you. To the screeching harpy, let's not meet. Entitled family delays a flight and then cries about it. I was recently flying cross-country from Maryland to Seattle. The flight was scheduled to depart at 7:00. I arrived at the airport at around 5 a.m. I expected to check in my bag, clear security, and get some breakfast before flying. That plan did not work. When I arrived at the airline, had a line of 15 to 20 people waiting to check out their bags, but I still figured I'd be fine. What I didn't account for was the family at the front of the line that was checking 16 whole bags. The airline I was flying only runs 4 flights a day from this particular airport, and therefore only had 2 people working at the check-in counter. The family with 16 bags consisted of the mother, father, a baby, 3 children that looked to be between 4 and 6-ish, a father, and a 4 and 9-ish years old. They hadn't checked in, prepaid any bags, or tagged any of the bags. Plus their credit card had issues, and the counter person had to try to find them 5 seats together on a full flight. Overall, they spent more than 5 hours with one of the 2 counter agents. I spent more than 50 minutes waiting to check in my bag with the other agent, and during that time, the mother of the family walked away from the counter in tears because she claimed her children were embarrassing her. Trust me, it wasn't the children everyone in line was mad at. By the time I checked my bag in, the line had grown to roughly 50 people behind me, and the flight had to be held to give people enough time to check in their bags and clear security due to the wait. To make things even better, there weren't 5 seats together on the plane, so they seated the mother and the 1 child in a row, the 2nd child in the middle seat of the row across from her, the 3rd seat in the middle seat behind her, and the father in the middle seat in the row behind that. They ignored the children for most of the flight except to yell at them, and expected the people sitting in those rows to watch the kids. And here's the final kicker. Was that they needed to get to Texas and the wife's car and belongs to, but it was cheaper to rent a car on the West Coast. So because the father was in the military, he charged the flights and 16 bags to the government and held up an entire flight he didn't need to save a couple $100 on a rental car. That's the end of today's video. If you all enjoyed the stories I had for you, remember to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and all that other wonderful stuff. I will see you all next time. Hasta la pasta.